Chloe Lewis led mourners at the funeral of her former boyfriend and fellow reality star Jake Hall, as family, friends, and loved ones gathered in Wanstead, Essex, on Friday to say their final goodbyes. The service took place at the historic Grade I-listed church, St. Mary the Virgin, Wanstead, where emotional scenes unfolded as those closest to Jake came together to honor his life, memories, and the journey he shared with so many people during his time in the public eye. Jake Hall passed away on Wednesday, 7 May, following a tragic accident at a property in Santa Margalida, Mallorca, Spain, where he sustained serious head injuries after falling through a glass door. His sudden passing left family, friends, and fans in deep shock, as many were still trying to process the heartbreaking news when funeral arrangements were announced. As the service took place, reality TV figures, close friends, and loved ones arrived quietly, many visibly emotional, as they prepared to say goodbye to someone who had been part of their lives for many years. Inside the church, the atmosphere was described as heavy with emotion, reflection, and remembrance. Among those present, Chloe Lewis was seen as one of the most prominent figures at the farewell, reflecting on the past she once shared with Jake during their time together on British reality television. Her presence at the funeral symbolized not only personal grief, but also the deep connection they once had. As news of the funeral spread, tributes began pouring in across social media, where fans and friends shared old photographs, heartfelt messages, and memories of Jake's time on television and beyond. Many described him as someone who brought energy, charm, and presence to every space he entered. In the days leading up to the service, emotional posts began circulating from those closest to him. Among them, Misse Beqiri shared a series of old photographs that captured meaningful moments from the past. Her tribute reflected a deep sense of remembrance, as she looked back on shared experiences and memories that now hold even greater significance. Another emotional message came from Georgia Kousoulou, who described the day of the funeral as a day for you, a short but powerful statement that resonated widely with fans and followers. Her words reflected the emotional weight of the moment and the sense of loss felt by many who knew Jake personally or through television. Chloe Lewis also shared heartfelt reflections, remembering her former partner with respect and emotion. Her tribute highlighted the personal side of their relationship and the lasting memories that remained even after their paths had changed over time. For many attending the funeral, the day was not only about grief, but also about celebration of life. Inside the church, moments of silence were followed by emotional tributes, shared stories, and memories that painted a picture of Jake Hall beyond his television appearances. Jake first became widely known through his time on The Only Way is Essex, where his personality quickly made him a familiar face to viewers. His journey on the show introduced him to a wider audience, and he became part of a generation of reality stars who shaped British entertainment television during that era. Beyond television, Jake's life continued away from the spotlight, where he focused on personal growth, relationships, and life experiences that were more private. Although he stepped back from regular media attention, his presence remained familiar to fans who had followed his earlier journey. That is why the news of his passing and the funeral that followed brought such strong reactions from fans across the country. Many people who had grown up watching him on television found themselves revisiting old clips, interviews, and memories, reflecting on a time when his presence was a regular part of their screens. At the funeral service in Wanstead, emotional moments unfolded throughout the day. Friends embraced one another quietly, some holding back tears, while others shared stories that brought both smiles and sadness. The atmosphere reflected a mixture of heartbreak and appreciation for the life that had been lived. Family members were surrounded by close friends and loved ones, receiving support during a moment that no one was truly prepared for. While the grief was evident, so too was the sense of unity among those who had come together to honor Jake's memory. Outside the church, fans also shared their emotions online, expressing sympathy and remembrance. Many described Jake as a key part of their early reality TV viewing experiences, while others spoke about how they had followed his journey over the years and felt connected to his story in different ways. The tributes shared by Misse Beqiri, Georgia Kousoulou, and Chloe Lewis added a deeply personal layer to the public reaction. Each message reflected a different part of Jake's life, showing how he was remembered not only as a television personality, but also as a friend, partner, and part of people's personal histories. As the day continued, it became clear that Jake Hall's impact extended far beyond television. His presence had touched people in different ways, through entertainment, friendships, and personal connections that shaped meaningful moments in their lives. Inside the church, the farewell was described as respectful and heartfelt. There were moments of silence where memories seemed to fill the space more than words. There were moments where shared stories reminded everyone of the laughter and energy Jake once brought into their lives. In times like this, public figures often leave behind more than just memories on screen. They leave behind emotional connections that fans carry with them long after the cameras stop rolling. Jake Hall's journey was one of those stories that remained in the hearts of many people who followed his time in reality television. As the service came to an end, attendees slowly began to leave the church, many pausing for a final moment of reflection. It was not a moment of closure, but rather a moment of remembrance that will continue in different ways for those who knew him best. For his family, friends, and loved ones, the day marked a deeply emotional farewell, but also a celebration of a life that meant something to so many. The memories shared, the tributes spoken, and the photographs remembered all formed a collective tribute that will continue to live on. And for fans who followed Jake Hall's journey from the beginning, this farewell serves as a reminder of how deeply a person's presence can be felt, even after they are no longer in the public eye. Though the service has ended, the memories remain. In every tribute, every photograph, and every story shared, Jake Hall's legacy continues quietly but powerfully, carried forward by those who knew him and those who watched his journey from afar.